Matt, who's a great pivot at captain you expect to be lower owned?
Yeah, so the reason I like Mixon is almost entirely for this. It's not that I expect the Bengals to win. I probably am picking the Rams to win. But if they do win, if the Bengals overperform, I don't think that's the game that winds up where Joe Burrow is the winning captain. I think Burrow is more likely to have a big game if the Rams get up early and he needs to throw a lot. Maybe the Bengals come back and win that way. But if the Bengals are winning early in this game, to Pearce's point, I think they do get more conservative, and they tend to be more of a run-based offense than people realize in general. They've been in some shootouts over the last couple months of the season, but for the most part during the year, it was kind of the Joe Mixon show most weeks. And I don't know that enough has happened where we should just totally change our minds about what the Bengals are. They obviously have a lot of skill at wide receiver, but I think if you get a game where the Bengals are leading, Mixon could have a huge day. And ultimately, it comes down to he'll be less popular than just about anyone in his price range, because I think most people expect the Rams to win, or if they expect the Bengals to win, they're going to go with, Steve's guys with Burrow and the pass catchers. So I just don't think Mixon will be nearly as popular as anyone else at the high end.
Bukes, right back to you. Dazzle us.
So, look, obviously, the Bengals need to try to stop Cooper Kupp. Good luck. No one's been able to do that. But I think it's been shown, and we saw it last week, that Cooper Kupp isn't the only guy that can have a big game when it comes to the Rams receivers. Odell Beckham Jr. had 9 catches for 113 yards last week, 23.3 DraftKings fantasy points. It is very evident that Matt Stafford is comfortable going to Odell Beckham, who has 19 targets in the 2 playoff games that the Rams have played. So I feel like if you want lower ownership and somebody who has some really high upside here as well, Beckham is probably going to be one of the guys in the lower pecking order, because if you're taking a receiver, you're going to Kupp, you're going to Chase. Beckham is not going to be one of those top choices. So I think Beckham has the upside as some of these other guys do, but he's going to come in at much lower ownership, especially in the captain spot.
Pearce, who stands out to you?
So I'm already on Mixon, the Bengals DST. I don't really have to get more contrarian, but if I was going to pivot even further, then I would look at Cam Akers. It seems crazy, but if you're going to roster some of these popular receivers and quarterbacks, you have to find a way to be different. And Akers is going to have some pretty low ownership because he hasn't played very well. He's got the questionable tag heading into this game, but he will have 2 weeks to mend. We know the Rams have a good offensive line unit. The Bengals are above average against stopping the run. They're not great against stopping the run. They tend to be more porous against receiving running back, but the Rams don't really have a receiving running back. So it can work for Akers. It's a risky strategy, but again, if you're going to roster Kupp and Chase and Burrow and you want to try to differentiate from the rest of the field, you have to get really weird with those players, and it'll probably require rostering Akers.